Welcome to ASR Science Institute. This is our website asr.com. We upload current affairs here daily and also monthly compilations are uploaded here. So for June 2016, we are discussing the monthly compilation. So you can download the PDF file from here, full news. We have already discussed the first half of June 2016. Now starting for the latter part from economy. So the first news item here is GDP growth accelerates to 7.9%. So this is the data coming from the Central Statistics Office for the financial year 2015-16, which ended in March 2016 end. So the last quarter data has come. So for overall the year 2015-16 financial year, GDP growth is 7.6%. So that is there. Then in each sector also, in agriculture it grew 1.2%, manufacturing 9.3%, and services 8.8%. The next news item is target low value items in electronics policy. So this is the recommendation of Niti Aayog. It says that to boost manufacturing of electronic products in the country, the manufacturing and production of low value products should be emphasized on. That will add a huge volume and value to the production. So this has been proposed. It also says that tax uncertainty has to be ended. Simplification of tax regime is required. That is another recommendation. Plus it has also said the 10-year tax holiday which is provided. So this is recommended that 10-year tax holiday should be given to investments which are about $1 billion and are creating around 15,000 jobs in the electronics industry. So such investments should be given tax holiday as well. So that is part of the recommendation. So these will be in the coastal economic zones as such established. Then it says the preferential market access policy which is there. So this policy mandates that state departments, organizations, agencies, they have to procure at least 30% of the equipments from domestic market. So when such investments are coming in, there is a preferential market access policy, local procuring. So this, it says that the Niti Aayog's suggestion is that this should be modified by DT to allow preference in government procurements as well, and especially it says in the area of defense also, because electronics is required in that defense sector also. So there should be government procurement allowed as such too. So that is a suggestion. Then the next news item is NGOs urge Prime Minister to resist pressure from US on IPRs, intellectual property rights. So USA has this special 301 report. So this comes out in which it lists out countries in which IPR protection are not up to their expectations. So India is there under priority watch list of USA. So it does not recognize, matter to India. India does not recognize these unilateral measures, it is said. And the IPR protection which is demanded by US, India says that it is WTO TRIPS plus. So WTO has this TRIPS agreement, trade related aspects of intellectual property rights agreement. So whatever provisions are there, India says we adhere to them, and what you are demanding is beyond that. So that is called TRIPS plus, right? So we won't adhere to your demands. Then next is deal on Iran gas field may be sealed by October. So this is regarding the Faraz-B gas project. So this gas project development has been sought by a consortium of Indian industries. So Iran is likely to go ahead with this, but then presently views are coming in, like as of April 2017, that this may not go to Indian companies, because of which India has also said that we should reduce sourcing oil from Iran as well. Because when Iran was under sanctions from Western nations, then India was still having in some way relations with Iran and dealings were taking place. Oil was sourced from Iran. But now when sanctions have been removed after the Iran nuclear agreement, which it has with Western powers, so now it is going ahead and seeking better deals as well. So that is why India is not happy with that. So this is the present development in this case. Then the next news item is SEBI to relax REIT rules to attract investors. So REIT is Real Estate Investment Trusts. What does this mean? This means it is a mutual fund kind of setup. So in this, investors would invest. It comes under SEBI regulation. So investors would invest in them, and these investments would be used to invest in real estate. So in real estate, whatever it may be, under construction assets will now also be allowed to be invested in. That has been proposed here now to make them more attractive. to attract large number of sponsors also. So that is also being made, that it may have a large number of sponsors as well. So this is what is being proposed to be done, relaxation of rules to make them more attractive. Then the next news item is Center may set up agency for analyzing services trade data. So Center is proposing such an agency. So this will be done by amending Collection of Statistics Act 2018. So there should be an institutional framework which should collect, analyze data on India's services, exports and imports. So service sector is very significant for the country. It contributes to almost half of India's GDP. India's foreign investment inflows, also half of it comes from services sector. Also a quarter of India's trade, 1/4 of India's total trade is in services. And India is amongst the top 10 WTO countries in services exports and imports. Also, we have a positive trade balance in service sector, means exports are more than imports. So that is why analyzing and working positively on this data is very essential. That's why a dedicated institution would be established. Then the next news item is Cabinet approves merger of associates with SBI. So State Bank of India will be merged with its associate banks. So this has been approved and this has already taken place as of April 2017. So these associate banks have been merged. So this will be 5 associate banks and also Bharatiya Mahila Bank. They have been merged with SBI. You don't need to remember specific names. UPSC does not ask such objective type questions at which banks have been merged presently out of these. So that is there. The first one which was merged, State Bank Associate Bank, was State Bank of Saurashtra, which was merged in 2008. And since then, this has taken place. Consolidation is taking place so that this will increase efficiencies. So this will rationalize the branches of the SBI. The treasury pooling will be done, common treasury pooling. Then also it will result in better deployment of the large skilled resource base of the banks. So this will be the positive aspect to it. Then next is, don't misuse debt recast norms. Rajan. So this is RBI governor, now former governor Raghuram Rajan. He had announced a revised scheme here. So this is S4A, Scheme for Sustainable Structuring of Stressed Assets. So stressed asset structuring should be done. For that purpose, this scheme was announced. So it is only applicable for projects that have commenced operations. Already commenced, where bank loans amount to more than 500 crores. So it was for that. And also at least 50% of the debt should be serviced. It should be done with. So over the same period as that of the existing loans, means 50% has been serviced in half the period and remaining debt should be converted into equity or quasi-equity instruments. So this is what this S4A scheme is for. So don't misuse this norm is what Raghuram Rajan, then governor, was saying. Then the next news item is Modi wants 10 crore households in TaxNet. So taxation net is very low. So at present it says that presently only 5.4 crore households come under TaxNet. The government wants to increase it to double. 10 crore households at least should come under the TaxNet. And also he said that nearly 92% of India's tax revenues come from self-assessment, advanced tax payments and TDS, tax deduction at source. So the 42,000 taxmen who are there in the country, they are raising only 8% of the tax revenue through assessments and scrutiny of returns. So this is also highlighted. Then the next news item is model for airport fees may increase passengers' fares. So what the government is proposing now is that hybrid till model should be used for all future airports. So there is this hybrid till model and single till model. So this is the model for assessing how much passenger fee should be charged. So if passenger fee is high, means passenger fares will go high. So this fee is charged for the operators' costs actually. The airport operators has to spend money. So operators' revenue is included. So that is seen that how much compensation has to be made for how much passenger fee should be charged. So for this hybrid till model, use airport operators' aeronautical revenues plus also 30% of non-aeronautical revenues to see how much subsidy should be provided. But in the single till model, everything is included. Means aeronautical revenue plus non-aeronautical revenues completely are used to calculate the passenger fee. So this complete addition of both is single till model. So this will result in revenues shown more. So if revenues are shown more means passenger fee, then subsidy required is less, so passenger fee would be less. But if hybrid tail model is used, then aeronautical is fully added revenue, but non-aeronautical only 30% is added. So because of this, then passenger fee would be charged to subsidize airport costs. So this hybrid tail model is being proposed by the government now. But AERA, Airports Economic Regulatory Authority, the tariff regulator here, which was set up by an act of parliament in 2009. So this is a statutory body. It has adopted the single tail model. And it also argues that single tail model is easier because understanding what is aeronautical revenue and non-aeronautical revenue becomes challenging. Because non-aeronautical revenue can be like, at the airports you have these shops, etc. So the revenues coming from them are non-aeronautical revenues. But then AERA gives an example like cargo, ground handling. So all that is aeronautical or non-aeronautical. So even it is considered as non-aeronautical, but the act of the parliament here, it says these are aeronautical activities. So these confusions do arise. So that is said. But presently hybrid tail model is actually used in Delhi and Mumbai airports. It's hybrid tail model which is used for calculating passenger fee. So now the news is that it will be used for all new airports. Then the next news item is it is 100% FDI in most sectors including defense. So this is the FDI regime norms announced presently. So the government has tightened the rules for companies, which was there for companies which are producing items with cutting edge and state of the art technology. So if they are bringing in FDI, they were given 5 years of blanket exemption. So now this has been reduced to only 3 years blanket exemption from the local sourcing now. That 30% local sourcing should be there. So this local sourcing will now be for means 3 years blanket ban. So it's an average of 5 years of the total value of the goods purchased. On that 30% local sourcing should be there. So that is the norm. So blanket exemption is only for 3 years. Then another one is in defense sector. Foreign investment beyond 49% up to 100% has been permitted now, but through government approval route. Then in government approval route, recently there has been development that government has said that this FPIB, the regulatory body, the body which looks into these government approval route, means it goes to FIPB route, Foreign Investment Promotion Board route. So that Foreign Investment Promotion Board would be ended. It would be scrapped. That has also been proposed now. So because majority of them are taking place through the automatic route. So that was also there. Then 100% FDI has been now provided under government approval route for trading, including through e-commerce. So that is there in respect of food products manufactured or produced in India. Then pharmaceutical sector also, government has permitted 74% FDI and the automatic route in existing pharmaceutical ventures, and government approval route beyond 74% up to 100%. Then 100% FDI in India-based airlines. So in this 100% FDI, this was also in news presently, because 100% FDI in India-based airline. So if it is India-based airline, then 100% FDI means then there's a condition here that the foreign carrier can only own up to 49% stake. So if that is the restriction, means it's India based, means more than 50% should be Indian with the Indian. So how 100% FDI is allowed then? So this was a query raised recently too. So it has been in news again. Then 100% FDI in existing airport projects without government permission. So in airport projects also, in airlines also, these are the FDI norms. The next news item is bank NPAs may hit 8.5% by March. So this is regarding banks' non-performing assets. So non-performing assets in 2016 was 7.6% of the gross bad loans of the banks as such. So now it is increased to 8.5% by March 2017. But actually it has gone up to 9.1%. So this has also been mentioned. This has been mentioned in the RBI's financial stability report. And it also says this has taken place because of the asset quality review which RBI undertook. Because many stressed assets are not taken part of NPA. So because of this, the gross NPAs of banks go down. So the asset quality review was done. It found several restructured advances. So these were standard in banks' books. They needed to be reclassified as non-performing assets. So because of this, NPA's percentage would go high. That is also been mentioned. That is because they already existed. Now they are coming out in the open. So that is why this percentage has gone high. Then the next news item is with respect to WTO economy news. So WTO welcomes TFA proposal, Sitharaman. So this is India's proposal of trade facilitation agreement in services. So this has been welcomed by WTO, means all WTO discussions would take place, all WTO members have to agree to it. They would sign the agreement, ratify it, and post that it would be implemented. So India says this is on the same lines as trade facilitation agreement in goods, which has already come into effect. It came into effect in Feb 2017 now. So this agreement was also ratified by all member nations. So that was also proposed, saying that this is no new issue being put forth. It is only for facilitating trade, which is already allowed. So same reasoning is used by India too, that this is also for facilitating trade, which is already allowed in services. So that is there. So TFA on goods, actually, the agreement there, it was for easing custom norms. So customs as such is very complicated in developing countries. So rationalizing of customs is what it proposed to do, because that becomes a hindrance in trade, in exports and imports. So developed countries already have their custom norms rationalized, simplified, but in developing countries, underdeveloped countries, that was the concern. So that's what this TFA agreement on goods does. And what our proposal, TFA agreement in services, proposes is that it should be easier transport, temporary movement of skilled workers. So that is there. Also social security deductions which are done for such temporary workers, they should be portable. Because if a person works for some time in a foreign nation and then he comes back, then those social security deductions are not portable, he's at a loss. So those are deducted from his salary. So such provisions were there. Even rationalizing of visa regime is also being demanded. So such provisions are there under this trade facilitation agreement in services. So why we are emphasizing that this is no new issue? Because in WTO, the Doha development agenda has been picked up. So this agenda has to be finished first, then only new issues would be picked up. So that has been decided. So the Doha development agenda issues still remain. So like special safeguard mechanism, which should be there for developing countries, because imports of farm items then results in their suffering. So that is there. Then a permanent solution is required on public stockholding of food grains for food security purposes. So this has also not been done under agreement of agriculture. So this was also point on which India refused to ratify TFA on goods. That is India, because here this issue has not been resolved, and now this agreement was proposed, ratified by all nations. So here for our problem, this present solution for public stockholding, because for PDS system in India too, we do this public stockholding, so that there is a cap for it, that how much can be done, and that cap was about to be breached. So that is why a peace clause was inserted, that temporarily, even if this cap is breached, there will be no penalties as such, and a permanent solution would be sought later. So these issues have still not been resolved. Doha development agenda issues. These are issues concerning developing countries majorly. So that is it. Then, so this is again with respect to the TFA in services. What India is also saying that with USA too, we are under a dispute because USA has increased visa fee for H1B and L1 categories. So this affects Indian IT companies which extensively use these visas to get people to work for them. So Indians are also benefited under these categories. So that is why this is also being opposed by India, the visa fee increase. Then the next news item here on GST, the first is virtually all states except Tamil Nadu support GST directly. So this is earlier news. Presently, we already know all states have accepted GST. The Tamil Nadu state was opposing because it is a producer state. So manufacturing state would have lower GST collection in the passing phase, because what happens is that it is the end destination based tax. So at destination taxation would be collected. So that is why the producer states may suffer, what is expected. But then the government has also said, we have also passed this compensation bill. So for the first 5 years of implementation of GST, if any state has any reduction in tax revenues, average tax revenues, then that would be compensated for by the government. So this has been assured. So of course, all states have come around and they have accepted GST. So this is regarding the states continent wise, how many countries have implemented GST. So in Asia, you can see the percentage is quite low. The next is in the energy sector. So here This is one of the targets of India. 100 gigawatts of solar capacity should be installed by 2022. So that is it. And another news item here is draft wind solar hybrid policies prove restrictive. So the wind hybrid plants means both plants to be set up in a particular site. So this is possible because it says there are large areas in the country where both wind and solar potential are there. So high to moderate potential of both is there. So that is why the target of this policy would be to have solar wind hybrid capacity available of around 10 gigawatts by 2022. So what is the one hindrance in this is that it is restrictive because it puts a cap on the size of such units. So that is there. So it wants to promote large grid connected solar wind photovoltaic systems. So this is being proposed now. So this is emphasized on because it will result in efficient use of land and transmission infrastructure. So that is the reason for this policy being endorsed. The next is in energy. Second unit of Kudankulam to reach criticality soon. So this is Kudankulam nuclear power plant which has been established by Russia. So this Russian reactor, the second unit of it, which is of 1000 megawatt, it has been built by NPCIL. It is a Russian reactor but built by NPCIL, National Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. So it has reached criticality. So there are two Russian reactors, VVR 1000, which are also coming up at Kudankulam. They'll also be built by NPCIL. They used enriched uranium as fuel and light water as coolant. So what is a coolant also in a nuclear reactor and what does it mean to attain criticality? Also we'll see. So this was established, first unit was started in 2013, Russian reactor in Kudankulam. It is in Tamil Nadu. So this has already been connected to the grid and the share which Tamil Nadu gets from this first unit is, you can see, 562. Then Andhra, Karnataka, Kerala and even Puducherry get a share from this nuclear reactor which has already been connected to the grid. So attaining criticality means that the reactor has attained normalization of number of neutrons which are emitted and how many are required for bombarding for the nuclear fission reaction in the nuclear reactor. So that has been done. So that means attaining criticality. So after that it can smoothly function. And a coolant is required because temperatures go very high in nuclear reactors. To absorb that, these coolants are used. So there are moderator and coolants also. So along with the nuclear fuel, there are two other terms which we'll use here in nuclear reactors. So moderators are required for reducing the number of neutrons which are emitted. So number of neutrons required are less, so they have to be absorbed, they have to be moderated. So the speed moderated. So these moderators and coolants are also used in nuclear reactors. The third and fourth units at Kudankulam, as we said, pit excavation has already started, and fifth and sixth are also planned. So 6 nuclear reactors so far from Russia in Kudankulam have been worked on. Then next is science and technology. So in science and tech, first is health. So with respect to health, the first news item is about new drugs fail to crack resistance. So antibiotic resistance is a major concern as such and is an important issue these days. So there are these third generation antibiotics which have been developed. These are called carbapenems. So these carbapenems, 2 new drug combinations which have been approved by US FDA. For their efficacy in treating infections resistant to even third generation antibiotics, carbapenems, they have limited efficacy in India. So this has come forth through tests. So this is what is in use. So carbapenems themselves should be sparingly used to ensure that they remain infected. So the carbapenems themselves are third generation antibiotics. So the enzyme that makes bacteria resistant to the strongest of antibiotics, NDM1, so this has been named even after New Delhi in India. So this New Delhi metallo-beta-lactamase 1. So this is the enzyme that makes bacteria resistant. Another one is OXA48, like carbapenemase. So indiscriminate use of antibiotics results in resistance being developed. So this is an issue and it is rising in India. Then the next news item is use of potassium bromate as food additive banned. So government has banned the use of potassium bromate. It is used as a food additive. This has been done following the Center for Science and Environment Study, which has found that its presence in bread causes cancer. So sodium iodate, it has been referred to the scientific panel as such. It is also used as a food additive, and it too is said to be carcinogenic. So such substances or such compounds which result in cancer, are cancer causing, they are called carcinogenic. So this is the news is presently about potassium bromide. So it is typically used in bread to increase the dough strength. So potassium iodate is also used in flour treatment as a flour treatment agent. So presently it is regarding potassium bromate only which has been banned. Potassium iodate will be studied. Then next is, this is why mitochondria are, related diseases are passed through mom. So this is so because shortly after the sperm penetrates an egg, the sperm's mitochondria are degraded and the egg persists. So that's why mitochondria related diseases are always inherited from the female. So this has presently also come up in news in March 2017 when we have already done a 3-parent baby. So this first time a license has been provided in UK for this. So that was to treat mitochondria related infections, related disease. So that is genetically inherited. So this, in this case, the third parent is a mother whose cell is also, egg cell is taken, but the DNA, nucleus as such is removed. So DNA is not coming from the third donor, the woman, but the mother who is suffering from mitochondrial defect, her nucleus is taken and inserted in that egg cell from the donor. So that is the 3-parent baby. Then the sperm fertilizes this egg and the baby is born. So this is regarding why why these diseases are inherited from mothers only. So male, boy, girl, whoever is born would suffer from this disease, but inheritance would be only through the mother. Then next is SMT space related news items. So this is, at a stroke, PSLV C-34 lobs 20 satellites into orbit. So ISRO launched 20 satellites presently. 17 are foreign country satellites. One is Cartosat 2 series satellite, the main payload of 75.5 kg, and 2 others are Indian satellites from Indian universities. So the student satellites, so small satellites. So in 2014, Russia had launched 37 satellites in a single mission. So now India has launched 20 satellites. Post this, we have already seen, it has already happened that in the next launch, ISRO has actually superseded Russian mission too. So India is now the country which has launched the maximum satellites in one go with precision. So in this case, 20 satellites launched, they are mentioned here. So you may not need the name specifically. UPSC does not ask such questions. Dove satellites were launched for USA. There are 12 total such Dove satellites which were launched. And the 2 Indian student satellites are named here. That is important. Satyabhama Set and Swayam. So these are from Satyabhama University and Pune University respectively. So this one will collect data on greenhouse gases, and this one will provide point-to-point messaging services for amateur radio community. So these are the 2 satellites from students launched by ISRO. The next is ISRO gears up to test scramjet engine. So this is with the success of the technology demonstration flight of its reusable launch vehicle now. India has indigenously developed scramjet engine and has named it ATV, Advanced Technology Vehicle. So this will be tested now. So scramjet is important. Scramjet, it actually means supersonic combustion ramjet. So it is a variant of ramjet, means an air breathing jet engine. So in which this combustion takes place in supersonic airflow. So this relies on the high vehicle speed to forcefully compress the incoming air before combustion. So that is what it is called, ramjet. That the air here is compressed and before the combustion because of the speed of the vehicle, and that is used as such. So it is called air breathing jet engine. So combustion takes place through this. So this you can see, this allows the scramjet. What happens, because the benefit of this compressing the incoming air is that it allows the scramjet to operate efficiently at extremely high speeds also. So that is the benefit. Then next is second breakthrough for LIGO gravitational wave detectors. So these gravitational wave detectors, they are the discovery of the first binary black hole merger has taken place by LIGO. So these LIGO are gravitational wave detectors. They are located at Livingston, Louisiana, Hanford in Washington, USA. And they are required, the requirement here is that the sophisticated noise filter and mathematical analysis and which are used in these LIGO reactors, LIGO experiments, are actually developed by Indian scientists also. So astrophysicist Jayan Narlikar is also involved in these experiments. And currently a number of scientists are engaged in building a LIGO detector in India also. That is. So LIGO, it is required that it is placed in such a way that detection becomes easier. So an ideal location, it's called Indigo, the LIGO detector, which will be placed, which will be established in India. It's named Indigo. So it is from USA only. So USA wanted it at the other end as such. So India became an ideal location for that. So its involvement in this experiment will result in getting information regarding these precision technologies too, which will benefit the country and the scientists and the industry, precision industry here. So that is the benefit. So it's trying to detect gravitational waves, which were first time predicted by Albert Einstein. So it is detectable when black holes merge. So when two black holes merge, generally it is seen that gravitational waves emerging from them can be detected and studied. So they help in understanding the origin of the universe too, and can have various applications as well. Then in IT, the first news is new Chinese system named world's top supercomputer. So now the world's top supercomputer is Sunway Tiahu Lite. So this is a Chinese supercomputer, world's most powerful supercomputer. Now it's built entirely using processors designed and made in China. So this is also a uniqueness here, because USA has taken the top spot always, and even if not USA, then it is using the supercomputer which has been at the top spot was using processors made there. But now this is entirely Chinese. So earlier it was Tianhe 2, an Intel-based Chinese supercomputer that was at the top spot. Now Sunway Tiahu Lite is twice as fast and 3 times as efficient as Tianhe 2. So this is there. Titan, a Cray X40 system which is installed at US Department of Energy, is now at the 3rd position after Tianhe 2. And China leads in total number of supercomputers too, with 167 as opposed to US, which is at 2nd spot with 165 supercomputers. Then next in biotechnology, Ministry to consult seed firms, farmers on GM crops. So this is regarding the notification which is called Licensing and Formats for GM Technology Agreement Guidelines 2016. So this specifies that companies that license GM technology could charge seed companies royalty no more than 10% of the government specified maximum sale price of a packet of cotton for 5 years. So this is trying to restrict the monopoly which these GM crops, BT cotton actually licenses which are there provided. So that is Monsanto Mahako Biotech Limited. So this provides the license for this technology, BT cotton technology, and these seed companies then sell these seeds. So they are given the license by this company Monsanto. So now the government has put a cap on how much royalty can be paid. It cannot be more than 10% of what government specifies. This will be there for 5 years. So GM seeds are only permitted presently in cotton only. No food crop has been genetically modified and allowed to be produced in the country. And cotton is non-food. Still, it is the only crop which has been allowed, permitted to use GM seeds. And we are seeing that it is resulting in Monsanto taking in a lot of royalty here, because these genetically modified seeds are not breeder seeds. So there are breeder seeds which need to be brought, and they have to be sown every time. So you cannot reuse the seeds. Otherwise, generally in farming, the seeds, you don't have to buy seeds. But in this case, you have to buy these GM seeds every time. So that is the. So presently, at least 95% of commercially grown cotton in the country is GM, genetically modified. So this is a significant notification coming in, capping the royalty now at 10%. Then in environment biodiversity, Maneka slams Javadekar over culling. So this is culling, means killing of wild animals in man-animal conflict. So this notification which has come forth from the Environment Ministry. So a clearance in effect has been given by it that it has allowed Himachal Pradesh to kill, in farmers here, to kill a species of monkey. This is Rhesus macaca of monkeys. And Bihar to eliminate nilgai or the blue bull, a species of antelope, and wild pigs. So when they come in conflict with humans, they have been allowed to be culled. So this has been protested against by Maneka Gandhi, who is also an animal rights activist here. So these are three animals: monkey, nilgai, and wild pigs, which are now called vermins. So they can be eliminated. Then next is in defense of Kashmir's unpopular poplars. So these poplar trees which are there in Kashmir Valley, they are being cut down now presently because it is said that they are the main cause of allergies. So during late spring, there are pollens from them, the cotton shedding, which are laden with pollens, that results in allergy. So because of this, they are being cut down now. So that is there. So in 2014, Jammu and Kashmir High Court had first banned the sale, purchase and plantation of these poplars. So they are banned as such. This is the news. You can see fruit boxes are made out of them. It consumes water, purifies it more than any other tree that could be helpful for water bodies too. So that is also the benefit. It can be used. Its wood can be used. It is purifying water as well, and it matures very quickly in just 3 years. So that is the poplars in Kashmir Valley. The next is trekkers must take back trash from forests. So under Swachh Bharat mission now, the Environment Ministry has said that garbage bins will not be there in 10 prominent wildlife parks. So means visitors will take back their litter home. So this includes also Jim Corbett National Park of Uttarakhand, Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh. So even the names here and where they are located, that is important because UPSC asks questions on matching for these wildlife sanctuaries also. So Koringa is in Andhra Pradesh, Gir Kanha in Madhya Pradesh, both of them. Tadoba Anthri is in Maharashtra. Then Flamingo Sanctuary also in Maharashtra. Nagarhole, Karnataka. Periyar, Kerala. Sariska, Rajasthan. And Mudumalai in Tamil Nadu. So these are where this norm will be brought in. No garbage bins. Then next on disaster management. Standard operating procedures violated. So in Silgaon, in Maharashtra, this is a mother depot for the entire army. So 1.2 million people army. So it had various sheds housing a variety of ammunition. So it already has them. So there are bullets for small arms, tank shells, artillery shells, even BrahMos and other missiles. The entire ammunition depot, the main depot warehouse is here. So what happened here was, this is near Nagpur. It is a 7,000 acre region. So what happened here was a blast took place, and the cause for this is being investigated into. So you can see India presently has ammunition supply which can last 20 days of intense fighting, and actually recommended is that it should have adequate ammunition supply for 40 days. So earlier two such incidents have taken place where these places have caught fire. So presently it was also said that this was because of the ammunition which was placed there had been old and it had to be eliminated. So it stayed there and it resulted in this blast here. So this was a major incident which took place. Then India among top 3 regions in corruption linked fraud. So perceived prevalence of fraud in India is 3rd highest among the countries across 6 continents. So you can see highest incidence of fraud as reported by Indian companies is because of corruption and bribery. So this is regarding data coming forth here. Then in security, the first news item is India US to share data on terrorists. So we are having this agreement. So US has finalized such agreements with 30 countries as such. So India has also signed this agreement to join the global trade database. Terror database. So this global terror database will be maintained by USA, this Terrorist Screening Center of USA. So means RAW and IB have opposed this, that US getting unhindered access to the database of terror suspects in India should not be the case, but India has signed this agreement presently. Then next is, of course, it is not reciprocity, means we will not get access, USA will get access. Then this is regarding the Pulgaon fire also. So it was defective mines that could have caused the blast. So court of inquiry was conducted here, and it was found that the defective anti-tank mines which were packed with poor quality explosives, they must have caused the disaster. So this is the initial suggestion which has come forth now. So it resulted in death of 19 military and civilian personnel too. So it was a major flaw in the mines here. These were designed by ARD, Armament Research and Development Establishment, in 2004. And the quality of TNT used in them was the problem, because it had resulted in leaking, and it had leaked also, it says, because of the purity of TNT was not up to the mark. So that is why it had leaked as well. So that had caused the blast. So it says over 23,000 such mines are stacked in CAD, Central Ammunition Depot here in Kulgaon, across the army ammunition depots that are over 1 lakh. So these defective mines should be repaired or destroyed. So that has not been undertaken, and it may result in such disaster. So there is still a need to take action on this. Then NIA arrests 5 busts IS module in Hyderabad. So this National Investigation Agency is fighting against IS and IS suspects. So that keeps coming in news. Then in defense, made in India F-16s on radar thanks to FDI. So American military manufacturing company, this Lockheed Martin, would soon be producing F-16 fighters in India. So we are attracting FDI in India in defense. So it may set up its base in India. So negotiations are also going on with French government. So even 36 Rafale fighters, that deal has not succeeded. So direct purchase has been proposed. This has already taken place. 36 Rafale fighters would be directly purchased as such. So that was proposed. So Lockheed Martin here is also keen to have a production facility, which it has in USA, closed down. So to invite them to set up a production line in India completely, lock, stock and barrel, is what we are looking forward to now. So that is in news. So this is regarding the second part. In the third part, we will see bilateral and international relations. Thank you.